everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And today's information session is 2024 Portugal Summer Abroad. Let's begin with the land acknowledgement. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. So today's info session is on 2024 Portugal Summer Abroad. Welcome to everyone who's joining us today. My name is Lorena Otham. I'm the Director of the Professional and International Programs, including Summer Abroad at the University of Toronto. I'm delighted that we are joined today by Professor Annabella Rato, who's the Associate Chair of Portuguese Studies, Department of Spanish and Portuguese. And also joining us today are Manisha and Sarah, who are 2023 Portugal Summer Abroad participants who will be sharing their unique experience with you. What are we going to talk about? I'll begin by giving you a brief overview on Summer Abroad. Then we'll talk a little bit more in detail about Portugal program. Professor Annabella Rato, you'll hear from her. She'll describe the program to you and what makes it so unique. Our students will also have the opportunity to share their experiences so you have their perspective as well. And if you're not sure about this program or how to apply, I will be walking you through eligibility and also our application process. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to use the Q&A function on the Zoom chat. Type it in, and my wonderful colleagues and team behind the scene, including Wendy Sherd, will be helping, and she will be addressing them during this presentation. I'll also circle back at the end if there are additional questions you have. Please note this session is being recorded, and the video will be posted on our Summer Abroad website. So let's begin. Summer Abroad, you've heard about it. What is this? We're really fortunate. For 2024, we have over 30 courses that we are going to be offering to our Summer Abroad EFT students, and they are across 17 different international locations. So we are excited to offer this to our students, and you'll have an opportunity to review each one of the locations and select one that will fit your unique needs. It's an incredible academic experience. So just to clarify, these are full year credits at the University of Toronto, arts and science credits. These are not transfer credits. And what these mean, these are EFT degree credits, and you receive a EFT grade as well. No transfer credits. We're very fortunate to be celebrating our 52nd year this year, and we've had about 20,000 students across the different years participate. So we hope you'll have an opportunity to participate this summer. These courses are taught by our UFT and also international instructors. Specifically for Portugal, we have our Portugal instructors teach the course as well, and we'll dig a little bit deeper into it in later slides. You could take these courses and fulfill program, a breadth requirement, or distribution requirements. The courses are much smaller, and we do provide an all-inclusive study option. We put a package together, and these locations and courses are very carefully curated for our students. Also, in terms of student support, there'll be pre-departure orientations and safety abroad workshops that you will be guided through to make sure that you're prepared and your experience is the best possible this particular summer. So why Summer Abroad? We want you to know that there are multiple and different types of benefits. Our students over the years have come back to us year after year to say these were one of the best experiences, and it made their undergraduate degree so different and so unique. Their professional benefits, absolutely. You have an opportunity to build your network right now. Immerse yourself in an incredible immersive experience abroad, completing one full credit in about 4 weeks. And the content is fresh, and we always say the location becomes your living textbooks. There's just no other way to describe it. In terms of personal development, you do make lifelong friends. I've had colleagues who come back and say they've actually done this program during their undergraduate, and they're still friends with individuals they met during this particular program. So it's absolutely incredible. You have an opportunity to develop your interpersonal skills, really be a global citizen. And this is something really unique, and employers are absolutely absolutely aware of it, and we've seen even research studies done on it where they have really indicated that it stands out when you are writing on your resume that you've done a fully immersive experience in an international location, studied completely independently on your own, and had wonderful benefits that were derived from it. So if you're considering this particular program, it's open to all our UFT students. You must be in a good academic standing, completed at least one or more courses, depending on the course you are applying for. A minimum CGPA is 1.75 at the time of application. If you are a first-year student, don't worry, you're also eligible to apply. We would then be reviewing your grades that you completed in the fall or midterms, etc. And we'll really reach out to you and work with you to ensure you're matched with an appropriate destination that really fits your needs. If a student is in a professional faculty or a graduate program at UFT, they are welcome to apply. It's also open to UFT alums and non-degree students in the past as well. We've had a number of students participate, and it's really been incredible to see them part of summer abroad. If you have friends at other North American universities, to know that this is also open to students from other North American universities as well. They follow a letter of permission. So if you have questions, reach out. We will be happy to guide them through the process. That was an overview of summer abroad. Let's talk about Portugal. It's an incredible opportunity, and I am actually going to let you hear from Professor Anabela Rato about the program.
Olá, bom dia. I'm Anabela Rato, and I'm a professor at the Department of Spanish and Portuguese and the Associate Chair of Undergraduate Studies in Portuguese Studies. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Summer Abroad program in Lisbon. I'll talk a little bit about what is a typical day, what to do in Lisbon, and some of the cultural differences that you may find. This experience will provide you a full linguistic immersion in the capital of Portugal, which will improve not only your language proficiency, but also enrich your understanding of the culture, the history, and the people of Portugal. It will also enrich your international experience as global citizens, help develop connections with members of the Portuguese university community and other international students. Also, it will allow you to engage in cross-cultural learning environments in very small class educational settings and in real-life contexts with local native speakers of Portuguese. It is this program that's focused on language will allow you to be exposed to a higher daily contact with Portuguese, because you'll be exposed to the language inside and outside of the classroom in all interactions, which in comparison to 2 4-hour weekly in-class exposure is much higher. It will also allow you to be immersed in a natural environment in which you will conduct the daily activities in the new language, and these will be complemented by the 4-hour language course with Portuguese instructors. The positive effects of the study abroad experience are known, and they are many, particularly on the language and cultural learning. However, this effect, the impact will depend on the amount and the type of language contact and your own personal choices. So my advice is take the most of the experience and try to go beyond your comfort zone and communicate in Portuguese the most you can in all interactions, from the bus driver to local citizens, when you are outside the university grounds. A typical day will start with classes in the morning from 9 to 1 p.m. at the Instituto de Cultura e Língua Portuguesa, which is a teaching and research division in the Faculty of Arts of the University of Lisbon, very well known and well respected for its experience with Portuguese courses. Each course is worth 1 full year credit. As you know, you will be able to take one of 3 language levels: A2, that would correspond to a beginner level, B1 to an intermediate level, and B2 to an advanced level of Portuguese. The afternoons are used for individual study, for language lab work, some cultural events and field trips that are optional. This is one example of a picture taken in the faculty in a party, and this is a picture from former students in Sintra, Palácio da Pena. The University of Lisbon is very well located in the center of the city of Lisbon. It has very good means of transport, either by subway or by bus. And one of the things, as in any big city, you need to be careful with pickpocketing in the public transports in particular, and carrying your backpacks. Also at the university, be careful where you put your personal belongings as well. As in any big city, you will find it's a very safe city, but you'll find this kind of potential issues. You can expect that English is spoken by local citizens, that they do have a very good level of English. The younger generations a better level than the older, but still, if you walk around, and especially in Lisbon, you'll find very easy to use English. But of course, again, take the most of the experience and try to use the Portuguese language as much as possible. Lisbon is, as you may know, a very vibrant and city that can provide different kinds of learning experiences. It's one of the oldest cities in the world, so it has many historical sites, museums, and cultural attractions. It is also one of the cheapest still and safest capital cities in Europe, so take the most of it. In July, although Lisbon enjoys a Mediterranean climate, July and August are the hottest months, so expect to have a hot weather, which is good to go to the beach also nearby Lisbon in July. The airport is very close to the city center, and the city has a good system of public transports. You can take the bus or the subway or walk to the campus. There is much to do in Lisbon, from new monuments, museums, shopping, parks, nice places to do some sightseeing of the river, of the city, and the nightlife is also very lively. One of the best things about Portugal is the food and also the drinks and sweets. So do take the most of that experience too. You can also have other experience, such as visiting the typical Lisbon neighborhoods where you can listen to fado, for example, in Alfama. Again, you can also visit palaces near Lisbon, very close to Lisbon, as in Sintra, or go to the beach, which again, you can take the public transports and spend the afternoon there. Some of the cultural differences that you should expect have to do with physical distance and eye contact. In Portugal, people tend to be closer to you when speaking and when greeting you, so do expect that. Also, you can expect some physical gestures as tapping, for example, in your arm or in your shoulder. If you're friends with someone, the greetings, they have changed since the pandemic, so now it's more common for people not to kiss or immediately hug, but again, do expect more closeness. And if you are friends with Portuguese people, you probably will be facing this type of experience of kisses, or for women, or handshakes for men, and hugs. There is some flexibility in scheduling, and delays are accepted in social gatherings only, not in professional or academic environments. So being late 10 to 15 minutes is acceptable, but this has been changing too. In professional and academic environments, this is not expected or allowed anymore. Social life is very important of Portuguese, and in Lisbon in the summer in particular, one of the common things to do is go for coffee, tomar ou beber café, after lunch, in the afternoon, after dinner. So friends might invite you to do that. Drinking is allowed in public spaces as well as smoking. Smoking is not allowed in closed spaces. Eating is not allowed in public closed spaces, for example, or in the classroom. At university, it's considered to be rude to eat in the classroom. You can drink coffee or water, obviously, but not bring food to the class. The cinema, the same, except for popcorns. Also expect different times for meals. So 12 to 2 are the times for lunch, 8 to 10 for dinner. The street shops and shoppings are open until later, and bars and clubs are also open until very late. You can find further information at the Summer Abroad website, at the website of the Institute, at our department too. And if you have any question, you can also email me. And have a great time in Lisbon and take the most of this learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you to Professor Rado for that incredible overview. If students have questions, I encourage you to put that in the Q&A function so that our team, including Professor Rado, could answer your inquiries. I am going to invite Manisha. Talk a little bit about your 2023 Portugal experience.
Yeah, so my name is Manisha. I was a student in the program last year in 2023. It's so funny because Sarah was actually my roommate. So it's so nice to see Sarah here. I didn't know she's going to be here. So good to see a familiar face. So I am a Master's of Education student at OISE. I'm specializing in adult education and community development, and I'm in my last course. So I will be done by June, and I'm very excited to be graduating. I must say that this was really one of the highlights of my program at U of T. I had done some language immersion experiences in French across Canada through the Explore program. Some of you may have heard of it. If you haven't, definitely check that out as well. It's also a really great opportunity if you want to learn a language. But I never had the opportunity during my undergrad to study abroad. And I had the means to do it this year, especially with the bursary that U of T offers for students that I applied for. Yeah, so I finally did it, and I'm so happy to say that it's something that I was privileged enough to do. I chose Portugal specifically, one because I don't know any Portuguese. I was a complete beginner coming into this program. I did know some Spanish. If anyone knows Spanish, you probably will find that you mix up the two languages a lot, especially as a beginner student. But I really crave to have that kind of language learning experience again, especially in learning it in the country of origin. As Lorraine kind of touched on already, it's so invaluable to be able to learn a language in the country where it's the lingua franca, where everyone speaks that language, because when you're immersed in it, like your brain starts to think in that language and whatever bits that it can. So I think, like I've written in the blurb there, I don't think I would have learned as much Portuguese as I did had I taken the course here in Canada. I think it was just really valuable to be able to learn it in Portugal. So that was definitely one of the reasons why I chose the Portugal program. Also, as a student, of course, we all know that finances can be tight, and Portugal is definitely, I think, one of the destinations that is a bit cheaper for the fees, as well as for food, cost of living while you're there. So that was also a big, I guess, reason that I chose this program in particular. And then some of the highlights of the program, probably I would say, is the excursions. One that I would suggest if anyone does decide to apply and is accepted is Cabo de Roca. I think Sarah went there as well, and both of us, we went at separate times. I think, Sarah, you went during the day. I went near sunset, and I went by myself. I wasn't there for very long, but because I want to get home because it's quite far from the residence. But I was there for like 10 minutes, and it was probably the highlight of the entire trip because it is so beautiful. It's the most western part of Europe. I just witnessed the ocean and this beautiful sunset. It was unlike anything I've ever seen in my life before. And I had a moment of like quiet and silence by myself on the top of the cliff, looking out on the water. And it was such a beautiful experience. So really the excursions were so much fun. The beaches as well. I love to swim and I love to be on the beach. So it was really fun to go on the beach and enjoy the sun. So some of those excursions were definitely, for me, the highlights. There's, I think, so much value of going abroad and taking a course. Like I said already, being immersed in the language, but also you get to grow your professional network. I got to meet so many U of T students that I wouldn't have met before this. And we all became really good friends, and we were able to go out on the excursions together and try all these new experiences together as well. Being abroad, you can get homesick. I know I definitely got homesick while I was abroad, but knowing that there was other people who were going through the same experience as me and having them to kind of lean on and experience all of this together really helps, as opposed to just doing this completely by myself. Definitely connect with the people who are accepted in the program. We made a Facebook group, so we got to kind of get to know each other before we got to Lisbon. So if you're able to meet up before you go, I think it's really wonderful to be able to make those connections of U of T students abroad, and then also the connections you make once you're there as well. We had classes with students from all around the world, really. Like we had some students from China, we had some students from the States. I had also a colleague from Brazil. So it's really a global network that you're forming there. And like Lorraine said, it's also a great way to land a job and make yourself stand out when you come back home after you're done your undergrad. Yeah, I think that's like the bulk of my experience. I wish I could go back. Maybe the only thing I will end on is that classes are quite tiring. It's very intensive, so keep that in mind. Make sure you get your sleep. Weekends was really the time where we got to do all of our excursions, because after class you're so tired and you make your food and you socialize with your friends in the residence, and then it's time to go to bed and do it all over again. So really Fridays to Sundays were the time where we got to go on our excursions. Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't, have the opportunity to go out every night, because it's also super important to take care of your mental health and well-being while you're abroad. So I will definitely be booking another trip to Portugal, hopefully sometime soon, to see all of the things that I didn't get to see while I was there. I would highly recommend the experience. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you for sharing your highlights and also for sharing tips. It's so important, student to student. I would like to call on Sarah now.
Thank you so much. I'm in a biology specialist program, as you can see in that description there. So taking a language course was a little bit out of my general, field of study, but I absolutely loved it. One of the things that sparked my interest when I was looking through like a U of T program to do, because I did do the Italy one in 2022, specifically Portugal, because as Manisha mentioned, you are taught by like professors who work at the University of Lisbon. So it's not like a professor that travels with U of T, although we do have Professor Rato, but she's just like kind of a coordinator, but you get taught by somebody who grew up generally in Lisbon and has lived there since day one. And so their accent and the level of Portuguese that they know, it's like you feel very like it's an authentic experience right from in the classroom. So that's one of the things that's like what really piqued my interest about Portugal. And another thing, like as Misha mentioned, the Portugal program was one of the most affordable options that there was. I was fortunate enough, I didn't need to apply for the scholarships, although I know plenty of people who have applied and have gotten them, because U of T does have a lot of opportunities to be able to give out that extra financial aid. So if you are, being like, oh, I don't have, I think was just under like 4,000 for the program. If you don't have that, don't worry, because the university offers lots of financial aid, but it is very, very affordable. The highlights of my experience in Lisbon, there is actually way too many to even list at this point. I had to pick the best few. One of them was actually meeting my roommate, Manisha, who happens to be here in the call. It so happened that we just ended up being like the same person. Like the fact that we ended up as roommates, we were like living the exact same lifestyle. I was like, okay, I'm tired. Time to go to bed. She's like, oh my God, me too. Like we were on the same wavelength the entire trip, which made it absolutely amazing. So her and I also did homework together a lot of the time. So we would quiz each other and just practice our Portuguese, kind of chatting in our room, which is a lot of fun. Also in the classroom experience, like Manisha was mentioning, there were people from all over the globe in my class. I also had people from China, one from Norway, a few from the States, and I think one from somewhere, I think it was Germany, I believe. Like there was quite a bit of diversity in the classroom, and so it was really nice to get to know those people. I do have contact with some of the people who were in my class as well, so that was really cool. Some of the best excursions that I did when I was in Lisbon was I did go to the Carcavelos, which is about 45 minutes by like car and an hour and a half by transit. Although a lot of us took Ubers because Ubers are actually quite cheap in Lisbon. That's one of the things. If you take Uber here, you'll notice it's quite expensive. In Lisbon, taking an Uber like 20 minutes would only cost about €4, which is significantly cheaper than it would here. So if you can't get on public transport or don't have enough time, there's always you could always take Uber. But also you could get a subway pass. So we use the subway to get to class every day. At least Manisha and I did. Some people walked, but it was a 40-minute walk. I would say take the transit. So we weren't about to do the 40-minute walk, but from the residence, it would take just under 15 minutes to get to class every day. So we would walk about 5 minutes to the subway, get on, take 3 stops, and then it would let you off right at the university. So that's one of the best things about Portugal is you were like right there, like from the residence to the university, you were in a very central location. So you didn't have to go much out of your way. And also the subway felt very safe. You do have to watch out for pickpockets, but overall the safety of taking the subway was at least much better than I find here in Toronto. Some of like the other, I guess, excursions I did was in one of the pictures, you can see that's Quinta da Regaleira, which was in Sintra, which is just outside of Lisbon. So that's actually really, honestly, not too far. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes by train. Once you get on, there's a local train station. It'll take you right out to Sintra. And with this, like if you get one of the monthly passes for like the subway in Lisbon, this will also cover travel outside of Lisbon. The general, consider it like the GTA kind of thing. It'll cover travel outside of it. So I would definitely say if you're thinking about doing excursions in and around Lisbon or just outside of it, I would say that subway pass is really, really key. It was a little bit of a process to apply for, but it was completely worth it because the amount I used the train systems and adventured around, it was well worth it because it also covers buses, which also took me to see Cabo da Roca, as Manisha said. When I was there, I also got to venture out. Like it was one of the peaceful things. There was like a little trail that led you out to this one little rock on the edge there. It was honestly, I just stood out there baffled. I sat down for like a good 20 minutes and I just stared out into like this beautiful ocean. And I just couldn't believe it because I'd never seen anything so. It was peaceful, but it was also just very like breathtaking. Like the rocks and the scenery was outstandingly amazing. So I would definitely recommend if you're going to go, definitely go to Cabo da Roca. And then just one last thing I did want to mention. The professor did mention how it is hot in Lisbon. It's not overly like compared to the GTA, they don't get the same humidity that we do. So it's hot, but without the humidity, I find it was a lot less humid. But the sun is very strong there. I learned that very quickly. I am a very pale person. It took me about an hour outside to get a nice sunburn. So please wear your sunscreen there. That is something I definitely want to recommend. It's not as hot, but the sun is it gets down on you. So it's beaming. But I would definitely say please do it between Italy and Portugal. Like Portugal, I like the amount of people. I'm still friends with like people from Portugal. I still talk to them all the time, including Manisha, my roommate. We still text. I still communicate with most people like in the program. So I would say Portugal. If you're looking between any, I 100% do Portugal. So
thank you, Sarah. That's an awesome recommendation. And to both Sarah and to Manisha, you're examples of students who've done this before and who are really asking and inviting, encouraging others to do this because you may as well do it now. I am going to provide a quick program overview. So just to recap, it's a fantastic program. If you haven't heard that already, we've been offering it. This will be our 4th year on site in Portugal, and over 60 students have participated in the Lisbon program already, and we hope we will see your application for 2024. Don't worry if you're an absolute beginners, all are welcome. And this is an opportunity to be immersed in this language. And as the students have confirmed, an incredible experience to learn a new language. Doesn't matter if it's first time learning a different language or if it is your 4th language, you're absolutely encouraged to apply. The classes are generally smaller and the program dates are June 30th to July 26th. Classes are scheduled Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All summer abroad classes are mandatory. There would be program activities that would be organized through the ICLP University of Lisbon, so you're definitely encouraged to engage in those particular activities, and accommodations are at local student residences and they are arranged through University of Toronto. So reminder, it's primarily an academic program and your experience would be similar to that of a local student from Portugal. As Professor Rado has mentioned, very safe, tourist-friendly city, one of the oldest in the world. Once you are there, you would be able to, once program ends, even travel around Europe at the end of the program as well. So definitely an incredible location for you to be in this particular summer. Classrooms, and I think also Sarah mentioned, very much accessible walking distances also from the residences and close to public transportation. You would also have access to an on-site coordinator through University of Lisbon, and they're available to students during regular office hours, and they would also be a contact in case of an emergency. They would assist with liaisoning with any ICLP matters and also be a contact if you need any clarification regarding the academic program. There are additional program activities that would be part of this experience, like welcome dinner, walking tours, orientation. A number of the information will be sent to you through ICLP once you're admitted closer to the date, so definitely look out for that once the program dates are closer. A bit of information about accommodation and meals. These are double rooms, so you would be sharing. If you are going to be going with a friend and both are admitted, do let us know if you have a preference to be assigned room with your friend, and we'll definitely take that into consideration. You would be staying at residences, which is integrated, as you've heard, with students from Portugal and other countries as well. You will have access to Wi-Fi, and depending on the residence where you are assigned, there would be 15 to 20 minutes by public transportation, and most of the students have indicated their assignments were actually extremely reasonable. You'll be close to city centers, and the residence has a kitchen all that you would be able to access. It's shared. In addition to that, we do encourage you to budget about $500 to purchase and maybe even prepare for your own meals. Again, the budget would differ depending on your personal needs. Here is a picture that we are sharing from past participants, and this is just an example. Please note your actual residence that's assigned to you this summer may look a little bit different, but here is a sample in case you're kind of curious what type of residences our students in the past have had experiences in. So getting there is no group flight for 2024. However, we do provide students with recommended flights. We've started to do this because students have indicated some students may be planning to travel to Europe before the program date, or maybe they're planning to travel home to different parts of the world and they would then fly to Lisbon from there on. So we want to be as flexible as possible. For students who are flying from Toronto, we will provide you with recommended flight details and you'll be able to then make your travel plans. This, what we've noticed, is also a flexibility in terms of finances, because some of our students have been really creative in the past and they've been able to secure extremely affordable flight tickets by really booking early and looking at different sites. Students will be asked to meet in Lisbon on June the 30th, and you'll be provided additional information on locations, and you'll also get a checklist of what to prepare for once you're admitted in the student guide that we will give you access to at a later date. A little bit comment about transportation. There is public transportation between the residences and the classroom. Before you apply for travel during COVID, we are asking students to review the COVID-19 planning information on the Safety Abroad site and go through the travel checklist, just so you're aware of the information listed on that page. There is information also published by the Government of Canada, and you'll be able to refer to the links by clicking on the FAQ section on the Summer Abroad website. Once you're on the Summer Abroad website, we also want to highlight the incredible equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility resources that my colleagues have been putting together over the last few months. EDI resources is extremely important, and we want to support all participants in your summer abroad experience. If you have any special request, if you would like to talk to somebody about your needs, please do reach out to Jansu Dulani, and she's the program coordinator for diversity and inclusion. Her email address is listed on the site. You'll also be able to book a virtual appointment by going on our website and clicking booking an online appointment. Students who require accommodations or students who are registered with accessibility services, we encourage you to reach out to the Summer Abroad office as early as possible. We would work with you, with accessibility service advisor, to understand your needs to ensure that you are supported during your term abroad. Please note the range of accommodation may differ from country to country. We cannot guarantee that the site where you'll be going will be able to offer all the accommodations or would be identical to what is available at EFT, but we'll definitely be able to guide you through the process and give you options so you're able to make an informed selection of what would work best for you this particular summer. So you've heard about the program and we've walked you through eligibility. How do you apply? Well, the applications are already live. They've been live on our website since December. So I hope all of you have started an application. If you haven't, please do go on the Summer Abroad website, create your account and start your application. Application deadline is February 1st at 5 p.m. Students are going to be selected based on a set of criteria. So please note it's not on a first come, first serve basis. We review students' application based on academic suitability, and you'll be asked a couple of questions that are related to your personal statement. We want to hear more from you, learn about you in your personal statement sections. Do let us know why you're interested in Portugal, why this matches your academic or personal objectives. There is going to be an application fee 205. Once you've submitted your application, make the payment. For students who might be wondering about refund policy, please be reassured we will refund the application fee to you if you're not selected. If you are interested in applying to multiple summer abroad programs, if you're thinking about, Portugal, but I may apply also to another program, you're absolutely welcome to do so. You would be applying to two separate programs and submitting two separate applications, so one for Portugal and one for your second location. If you're offered admission to both and you only plan to attend or complete one, please note we would not refund you for the second. But for any instance, you're admitted to Portugal, but we are not able to offer you the admission for your second, we will refund you the application fee for the program where you were not selected. So this is fair. Students who are offered a summer abroad award and are admitted, if you choose to withdraw, please note we would not refund the application fee because it would mean that a spot was taken. So we want to make sure you understand this part. If you do want to know more about our refund policy, please go to our website and it's listed in detail with a chart as well. The next couple of slides will walk you through the summer abroad application. Once you're on our portal, this is what our application looks like. It's pretty simple. It has a list of items, and once you've actually started to complete it, you'll notice a green checkbox will start to appear. It guides you through the different process. So it'll guide you through your program and course selection. It'll have helpful information about accommodation, travel details. So just go through this. There's also a really helpful video that our work study student actually has posted on our website. So if you need additional assistance, just watch the video. And if you have even more questions, feel free to reach out to our office. Admission decisions will be sent out to all our applicants as early as actually mid-February. We are hoping to make sure everyone is informed by early March. They'll really try to ensure that a timely response is sent out to everyone who's applied for this program so you can start planning for 2024 summer. Admission for on-site programs is conditional upon Government of Canada allowing travels outside of Canada. What do you do in terms of accepting an offer? You're an offered admission and the offer letter is emailed to you. You need to confirm your spot, so you'll have 1 week to confirm participation by paying the non-refundable $1,000 deposit. If you decline the offer, though, you would not get your application feedback. An exception is for any reason you applied for the financial need award and you were not offered that, then we would be able to refund that to you based on those conditions. Remaining fees for the Portugal program is due on April 24, 2024. Here is a little bit more information about cost. It's been mentioned a couple of times that funding is very important and the cost is integral to a student's decision making. So I'll walk students through the cost first, and I'll talk a little bit about funding sources as well. If you look at the top section, you'll see fees paid to UFT. Summer abroad program fees are categorized in 2 ways. The first is fees paid to University of Toronto, and this includes your application fees, your course fee, incidental, and also accommodation abroad. So you see the breakdown, and this is listed on our website as well. Please note there is a slight difference between the domestic and international students' course fee. So that's paid to the University of Toronto, and Summer Abroad Office guides you through the payment deadline as well. In addition to that, there are other fees that students would arrange and pay separately. And this includes your airfare, your meals on the site, textbook, medical travel insurance, and miscellaneous expenses. We have included an estimate on the website for your planning purposes. It's an estimate because we've noticed in the past the cost ranges depends on your own choices. I'd mentioned a little bit earlier, your airfare would depend on whether you're choosing to fly economy or maybe a different class, and your meals would also typically range depending on the types of food you're hoping to purchase during your program abroad. So the estimate total program cost is there for your reference. Please do use it and plan your funding and finances accordingly. Financial need is available for students who are participating in Summer Abroad program. To provide you a little bit of insight, share numbers. Last year, 2023, we provided 500,000 Canadian dollars to our Summer Abroad participants from Summer Abroad through Woodswood College alone. We are hoping to continue the funding for 2024 as well. So if you do need financial aid to participate in an international program, don't let finances stop you. Apply for funding. It is part and integrated as part of your Summer Abroad application. So once you start your Portugal Summer Abroad application on our website, you'll notice there'll be a question at the end. Would you wish to apply for funding? Click yes, and it'll take you to the next section, and you'll be able to complete your bursary or Summer Abroad award application. The funding is open for financial need to domestic students based on financial need that's demonstrated, and the award amounts you usually defer. It's based on the destination where you're hoping to go. If you are selected and the funds are granted to you, please note that the award amount is applied directly towards your cost of Summer Abroad program by our office. On the right-hand side, the award criteria are listed. For financial need through Summer Abroad Office, it's open to Canadian citizens, permanent residents, or protected person. You must be a current UFT undergraduate student, must have completed at least 4.0 UFT credits by December 2023, and CGPA of at least 2.25. You must have demonstrated financial need. And what that means is you must be able to provide documentation, either an OSAP assessment or even an assessment from your provincial grant office, or in some cases, students would also provide us their parental assessment of income tax as well. The documentation differs based on your personal situation. Merit-based awards are also available to students. Received a number of inquiries on that. I do want to flag that merit-based awards tend to be a bit more limited. We are very fortunate to be able to grant these out, but the number of merit-based awards, both in the number of recipients and also the amount of the awards, tend to be lower. But if you're interested, you are absolutely welcome to apply. It would be a supplemental application. What that means, once you've submitted the Portugal Summer Abroad application, go back onto the portal and you'll see a tab. It says search for bursaries and you'll see a merit-based application there. You would then submit that as a supplemental application for awards. It's very much specific. Feel free to outline your leadership achievements, anything that really sets you apart. The merit-based application is not based simply on CGPA. We want to really recognize students for their incredible achievements. So if you've led a new initiative, you've maybe created a project in your community, tell us about it. And we would love to recognize these incredible students. The award criteria is listed on the right-hand side, and this is open to EFT students, completion of 4.0 and CGPA of at least 2.25. I would like to dig a little bit deeper into financing your summer abroad program. There is a video of a session that I did last week and it's posted on our website. I encourage you to view it. A quick overview. I do want to just give you a little bit of tips. If you're thinking about funding for summer abroad and you're wondering what's the best way, think about combining different resources. Don't just limit yourself to one funding resource. Students in the past have indicated they've been able to access government aid, so summer OSAP, out of province aid, been able to save a little bit from their work-study programs, or maybe even tapped into the RESP or received contribution from family members. And last but not least, you could also apply to multiple student awards. Funding is not just granted through the Summer Abroad office. Note that funding is also available to you through CIE, which is Center for International Experience, through your college, faculty, and sometimes even through your department. We've summarized a number of resources on our website so you can easily access the links. Go to our website, look at financial aid, and you'll see tabs for each of these resources I've indicated on this page. Don't hesitate to apply. Apply for all awards where you meet eligibility requirements and know you can stack or combine funding. So start budgeting now. Final payments are due on April the 24th, so plan accordingly. Check with your registrar's office, arts and science, and departments for possible additional awards. If you're eligible and currently receive fall winter full-time OSAP specifically, do remember to complete your summer OSAP extension application that would open up in March. We do flag that OSAP funds generally are not released until closer to the start of the program. For summer abroad, you cannot defer your fees for this, so plan appropriately. And a reminder again, CIE does provide their International Experience IE Award Plus. And in the past, it's been incredibly generous and a number of our students have accessed this towards the Summer Abroad program. And they do indicate that a maximum of $8,000 over 2 years is usually granted to eligible students. And if you haven't done so, watch the video, How to Finance Your Summer Abroad on our Summer Abroad site. I'll move a little bit now on to travel requirements in terms of visas and insurance. You would be responsible for arranging your own visa if it is required. However, if you need supporting documentation, Summer Abroad will support you and provide you with the appropriate letters, etc. If you currently have a Canadian passport, you're a Canadian citizen, then do note that the passport needs to be valid for at least 3 months beyond your return date. If you're an international student, then your travel documentation would depend on the passport you're going to use to travel. So check with the embassy or consulate for the appropriate requirement because it does does differ based on the passport you would use. Once you admit it, though, we will give you additional information on travel documentations and guide you through the process. We do encourage you, if you do need to apply for a tourist visa, please do apply in Toronto if possible. We would then be able to support you accordingly. And if you need additional assistance, we can then help you. Please also review travel conditions, flight insurance information, and also cancellation insurance is something we would definitely encourage you to review when you are thinking about your travels abroad this summer. So let's recap. What's the timeline? So here's a little bit of a quick overview. So early December, we generally encourage students to review programs. Applications are open, so we hope you've started it. You're now in January, and it's perfect because you're looking at program information. We hope to see all the students completing their application by February 1st. And in February and in March, we would then be notifying all the applicants on the decision. You will have 1 week to pay your deposit to confirm your spot. The remaining fees for programs would be dependent on the dates we have on our website, and that's usually March to April. Before your departure, we will be reaching out to ensure that you are attending the pre-departure mandatory orientation sessions, and we will be guiding you through the next steps. If you are interested in connecting with other students and learning more about our Summer Abroad program, please do follow us on Instagram. Follow at EFT Abroad. A number of our students have shared incredible experiences through pictures, through comments on social media. So follow us and learn a little bit more about our incredible opportunities. We can also assist you in different ways. If you would like to book a virtual appointment with a Summer Abroad advisor, please do so as well. Or there's a Discord group that's actually been started by students. So feel free to engage there, because that is the end of our formal presentation. We've covered quite a lot of content, and I encourage students who are joining us today, just submit your applications. We love to see you this summer. And at this point, I would close the info session with a huge thanks to Professor Rado for joining us, and also to Sarah and Manisha to be part of this info session today. It's a huge round of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
you.
Bye.
Thanks so much, Lorraine and Wendy.
Take care.